Hey guys, it's Deja,
This is Kara.
And this is Ed.
and this is the day's dumpster fire.
Wait. It's playing again. What are we doing? Got it. There we go.
We did it.
Yay.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know why it was playing twice, but
It's
you know
fine.
what? It's
Fine.
fine.
We made it.
Yes, we made an introduction.
How are you guys
An hour
feeling?
later, we did it.
Yes,
How are we
exactly.
feeling? Like,
Yeah, how are you guys feeling?
is the school year over with?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Like that,
Kara, how many
that's
more
all
days
I'm
again you
asking
keep telling
for.
me?
Forgot. Let me
Kara's
count.
like, Deja, remember, 30 more days. And I'm like, uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, no, and what's so funny is that I have realized that we have spent the past hour trying to get our microphones synchronized,
Trying to get Kara back.
trying to get
I'm
Kara back because she
sorry,
had
I had to update. I didn't know.
yes, yeah, she had 300 updates awaiting.
It was
So-
just that security update for Microsoft on this computer. However, on my work computer, it was about 30 updates.
Yeah, no, your work computer is hilarious because
Yeah,
you're
that
just
was
like,
great.
well, I'm just gonna sit here for a while and just
Like, and
yeah, like one update after another to come in. But like during all this time, we never came up with a trash can fire.
That's our
Oh,
trash
yeah.
can fire.
that is our, yep, that's our trash can fire.
Well, yes, except for I really do have a trash can fire that is a dumpster / tire fire in the making.
Okay.
So
Does
Friday,
it have anything to do with Thursday?
no,
Okay.
it has to do with Friday.
Okay.
I was driving home and my wife calls me and she's like, hey, let me tell you about this case at work. Apparently, going all the way back to like 1922, people have been dumping tires in this super remote part of Arizona and then burning them.
Good.
So
That's
naturally, you'd be thinking,
That's
like,
good.
okay, it obviously falls into the Arizona state grounds, but then also Arizona's broken up by counties. And so the counties are like, that's your problem, not my problem. And then that county is like, no, it's your problem, not my problem, because all these tires have been laid out in between the county barriers that date all the way back to the 1920s. So, like, literally, no county is laying claim to this. There's like $100 million worth of tires there that nobody will pay for and nobody will show ownership for. And it's a poo show all the way to the finish. Because guess what? My wife has to deal with the lawyers of each county, the attorney generals,
Mm-hmm.
and neither of them actually have the ability to write a check to get it cleared up.
Good.
That's a good time.
Yeah. It's like
Awful.
yeah, it's like millions of dollars worth of tires just chilling out there that people have been letting on fire since 1924, which I guess dates back to before Arizona was actually a state. And yeah, everybody's just washing their hands of it.
Nice.
So my wife, who is the red tape dispenser for the government, is like completely stymied and there's nothing she can do. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. Tag, you're it.
That's
The rest of us
That's
school
something.
teachers are going to go to work tomorrow and figure out the other dozen to half dozen issues.
yeah, no kidding.
30 days left.
30 days.
30 business days. Not counting weekend.
So, given that, Deja, I know you started a rather fascinating biopic of Salman Rushdie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He.
There's some dogs. We have some dogs. I love how
Guys.
Kara loves to record with the noisiest animals known to mankind in a single recording room.
Okay. But look, I have my quiet dog in here with me.
Being very
That's
My
quiet.
husband went to go get groceries while we were recording, and I
Mhm.
didn't think about when he gets home.
okay. So next week, I'm going to have some family members out of my house. I'm going to bring in both Tuco and Freddy. Freddy's the gay parrot. Tuco is the spirit of Tuco from Breaking Bad. And I'm going to have them both in the background screaming because Tuco is like George Takei. He's like, oh, roar. Roar. Roar? Oh, roar. And then Tuco in the background is going to be like, tight, 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 tight. Oh, that's tight. And he's just going to be going on and on and on while we're trying to record whatever it is that we're doing. And it's going to sound like a mixture of Star Trek from 1960s to Breaking Bad, the first 3 seasons.
Okay.
All right.
And then
We'll
I'm going to
do it.
make you guys download the editing software. I want to have you guys edit that stuff out.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh boy.
It'll be more funny than anything.
All right, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about let's go over what we talked about last week. Last
Yeah,
2
recap.
weeks ago. It's been a while. So we talked about Salman Rushdie and who he was. He is a writer. He's Indian born but British educated. Wrote a great novel called The Midnight's Children, and that was a success. His next book was The Satanic Verses. The Satanic Verses is a novel that really turned his life into something I don't think he realized he was turning it into. That being said, this book was very controversial. He was accused of blasphemy, and Muslims were enraged around the world. And we talked about Ayatollah Khomeini, the supreme leader, the religious leader of Iran. He was a very happy man. He showed it in every picture you can find on Google. I'm just kidding. He was not a smiler, but he was not happy about this novel. So yeah, I mean, without going all the way back into the episode, let's kind of go from there, because we left off at him finding out about the novel and just kind of his feelings about it, I suppose. So yeah, that kind of goes into.
No, I was just gonna say, it's just like Salman Rushdie really didn't intend this book to be offensive.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think the intention was there. I don't think he realized the just massive public reaction that he got. And we'll get into the public reaction. We're going to jump into that here in a second. But yeah, he definitely didn't intend, but I'm going to say he had a feeling that it could upset some people, for sure. You know, he did make a statement saying that.
Well, and it may have tied into some of the characters, like, Gabriel instead of Gabriel and Mehmed instead of Muhammad. Like, there was a very specific scene where Muhammad or Mehmed was kind of really deceived.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way Rushdie put it, it was just like, no. Like it's not supposed to be solely focused on that. It's supposed to be focused on like the human side of
good
things.
And bad.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Rushdie was just like, hey, I did not intend this to be super offensive. But then again, though, I kind of see how it could
little hidden innuendos, if you will, that are kind of pointing towards what he could be portraying. And so I think that's kind of where it's just really hard to kind of really truly know if he, like, if there was that. I don't know. I feel like he kind of knew what he was doing. Just saying.
I get that feeling too. I get that feeling too, like kind of like how like To Kill a Mockingbird is to really criticize racism in America, but in a way Harper Lee kind of like skirts around it a little bit, but ultimately the book is about racism in America. And I think that's where Salman Rushdie is kind of a really good author, is that he introduced this impossible surrealism, right? Like the main character of the book doesn't want to sleep. He holds himself awake all the time because every time he falls asleep, he teleports back in time where he's altering human history.
Someone read the book a little bit, huh?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah,
I'm like halfway through it. and I'm like,
I also tried.
Yeah, no, I'm doing a deep dive into it just because this is like, what is this guy saying? And I feel like he's trying to say a lot, and it's not to be a criticism of any religion. It's not to be a criticism of anything. It's just to be like, guys, believe what you feel is supposed to be believed. And just like understand that everybody else is allowed to believe what they want to believe.
Well, so I also wanted to like kind of jump back into part 1. I wanted to kind of make a correction, but like also emphasize that during the 80s, Rushdie was very on the left side.
Okay.
After going back through and, you know, continuing my notes and whatnot, I started continuing to listen to more podcasts and different podcasts than I had already been exposed to. So I wanted to just go back and emphasize that he was very on the left side. And
I get that vibe.
As time has gone by, I want to say he's gone closer towards the middle, but I still do believe that he's on that left wing side. But yeah, let's kind of talk about the public reaction, because this episode is going to be kind of a hard one, and so yeah, we definitely need a palate cleanser after, because there is a lot of bad stuff that has happened since the release of this book.
I got you. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, so I had to have like a palate cleanser. I couldn't even listen to I've been listening to the audiobook of the Satanic Verses. It's one, you can't listen to it. You got to read it and listen to it if you're going to try to listen to. So I stopped. There was just, when this book came out initially in 1988, there was a lot of anger. The Satanic Verses was released in the UK 5 months before the fatwa was even declared. And within those 5 months, the public reaction was pretty crazy. It got very violent very quickly. Protests were being held against Salman Rushdie and the Satanic Verses, and this kind of split the Muslim community into sides. You're either for the book, or you're for Islam, and there's no in between. It was really very black and white.
Now, do you think it was the title that could have altered that? Like, let's say he named it the alternative verses, or the inconceivable verses, or anything of that nature. Do you think if he would have named it or titled it something else, that it wouldn't have turned into this mess?
That the response would be different? I don't think so. I mean, going back into part 1, we did talk about how the Satanic Verses was such a big part of the upset, because the meaning behind the Satanic Verses, or the part in the Quran that was taken out of, or that was ripped from the Quran, that is labeled the Satanic Verses because it was Satan speaking to the prophet. So it definitely is a huge, huge part of the reason why people are really upset. But I definitely don't think the reaction would have been any different because of all the extra things within the book that is very obviously pointed towards the prophet. Mahound being, the like kind of a discriminatory name towards Muhammad, and the names of Muhammad's wives being the sex workers. You know what I mean? There are so many other added components to the reaction that came.
Okay.
It would have, I don't think it would have changed anything, honestly.
I wonder if Rushdie changed Gabriel. Because the way I read it, it was just like Gabriel was like transported back in time, and it was his job to or to write the script of humanity, not knowing that he was actually writing the script of humanity. And since Gabriel was technically a movie actor and highly acclaimed Bollywood actor, but then he's also the archangel of God, like, bring him back in time and have him write the script the way it should have been to introduce peace. But is it possible that Gabriel himself was accidentally speaking the words of Satan?
So that is a part of the book that is kind of that difference between good and evil. The story between Saladin and Gabriel is Saladin became, or started to have the features of Satan. The feet and the horns and the legs, so on and so forth. And Gabriel was taking on the characteristics of the archangel.
Got it.
Yeah, and so towards the end, and again, I have not finished this book, and so it is so hard for me to like really wrap my head around the summaries.
I would be curious to hear Kara's take on this, because we all know she's a foremost expert on Hindi Muslim religious literature.
I did not read it. I did not read any summaries. And I'm sure our audience didn't either, and I'm sure all of us collectively are thoroughly confused.
It is a challenge, and I think the characters in the book, so they both kind of struggle with getting their lives put back together after the transformation in this like incident, this attack. Because again, the plane was hijacked and it exploded and they were falling, and that's when they transformed into these.
And they were stuck in that plane for like 100+ days.
And so, they're like, it's kind of talking about how they're trying to get their lives back into shape. And at the very end, I'm pretty sure, I think that Saladin rescues someone. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And I'll have to like look it up or something real quick because I'm having a hard time remembering. But it's more like the lives turned. So you would think that Saladin would become this evil person, and he struggled. But Jibril ended up being the one that ultimately betrayed and killed his wife.
Okay.
And I'll take a moment to look into it, because I'm trying to remember all of it. In the beginning, I've got it down because I read it and I've read the summaries multiple times, and that part I get it. I've listened to it multiple times, but
that would actually make a lot of sense. It really would. And I know, like, you and I are like midway through the book, and Kara's just like, "Hey, I'm just putting together a lesson on the 100 Years' War," and
she's doing great too.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just doing my thing here. I'm just trying to make a lesson on the 100 Years' War. Where Deja and I are like, what were the social, economic, and religious implications of Gabriel's decisions from?
I'm just waiting for the public's reaction.
Yes,
where the fire is.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the fire to be lit.
Okay, so the fire is starting. Okay, so the book was released in 1988. Okay, in the UK. Now, like I said, it took 5 months. To kind of summarize what we already went through. It took about 5 months for the book to be released until the fatwa was issued. And there was a lot of protesting. There was a lot of violence that ensued between that time period. There were bombings, there were killings, there were attempted killings amongst a lot of different people. Salman Rushdie actually ended up hiring a bodyguard by October. and mosques were printing out pages of the pages that were blasphemous and posting it on their wall in the mosque and then mailing it to other mosques to do the same. And on December 2nd of 1988 in Bolton, a town in Greater Manchester, England, 7,000 Muslims held the first protest against the novel. And this is also where you start to see the tradition of burning the book. At these
you're saying
demonstrations.
this is where the dumpster fire kind of catches
Again,
on fire.
this is where the fire has been lit.
Got it.
I would say days after the book was released, it was lit. Honestly, it's pretty quick if you think about it. That's a couple months. That's not a lot of time.
Yeah, it's so tricky for me because it's like I understand why people would find it offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, though, who cares? So what?
No kidding.
So what if you interpret this as offensive? You yourself, as a human being, you're fully entitled to see this thing as being offensive. But is it really offensive to the point where you have to get your government involved?
Mm-hmm.
Your religion involved? Is it to the point where you really have to put a hit on a human being's life?
That's the moral of the story, I feel. Is it really worth the lives of others to feel such deep emotion and betrayal about some words that were printed? But again, this is not my faith, and I don't want to say that I don't understand why they're upset, why Muslims would be upset over the writings of this book. I don't agree with the violence. That's just not, I don't think that it's okay to go to that point.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of the opposite. It's like I can understand why somebody would be offended by this, but I also agree with you. There should be no violence.
Yeah.
If you're really offended by it, write your own book.
Right.
Counter it with your own literature. Leave it to the prefrontal cortexes of human beings to sort this stuff out. I don't know. I guess I'm just...
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Kind of at the point where it's just like, hey, look, if you say something offensive, the offensive party needs to be able to retaliate in the same medium that the original person said something offensive, and just leave it at that.
Yeah. But
just freaking move
you also
on.
have this ideology, and it's a psychology behind it too. So
yeah,
there's so much to go with it, but going back to December 2nd, 1988, after Friday's prayer, protesters marched from, you guys can see the notes. Can you please help me on this? I really have tried many times to say it.
Hang on here.
Zachariah James Masjid.
Oh dear. I haven't brought up
What'd you say?
notes.
I think you're pretty close.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like that might be about right.
Don't worry.
Well, they marched.
We can edit this. I'm working on it.
We did not practice. It's fine.
Well, Ed, when you find it and you figure it out, interrupt. But they marched from Zachariah James Masjid to the town center. And this event somehow did not receive the biggest media coverage. So many were not aware, but that's a lot of people, if you ask me. So it's kind of crazy that went unseen. Several countries such as India, Pakistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and many more had banned the book by January of 1989, actually. And I tried to find the exact number, but I couldn't find a solid, consistent number, but about 20 books, or excuse me, about 20 countries, but we're doing it. 20 countries banned the book.
Got it. Okay, I think I got it. So you're talking about Zachariah James Masjid?
Is that your guess is about as good as mine?
Masjid.
Masjid.
Yeah, it would be Zachariah James Masjid.
Okay.
The J is almost like a hyphen.
Okay.
Yeah, Zechariah James Masahid.
To the town center.
Got it.
They went from there to the town center. So yeah, that's kind of the start of these bigger protests. Then you go to Bradford, and this riot is pretty important. So the Bradford riot happened in January 14th, 1989. Bradford is kind of the heart of the Muslim community in Britain, and their population is pretty massive. So this, and I want to make it very clear that in the 80s, Muslims were extremely discriminated against. Again, they were extremely discriminated against. Were treated, I would say, as the equivalent of Black people in America. Honestly, I think that needs to be very clear. So Bradford is really important to the Muslim community. So what's really interesting is there is a Bradford Council of for Mosques, and this is a community organization created to support and allow this multiracial city to have an equal right to maintain its own identity, culture, language, religion, and customs. But this is also the same mosque that organized the book burning protests. February 12th in 1989, there was another riot. This time it was an attack on the U.S. Cultural Center, burning the book, of course, because this is going to be a tradition. 6 people were killed, 100 were injured. As the protest spread, a demonstrator was killed, and over 100 more were injured in Srinagar?
Srinagar.
Okay, Jammu and Kashmir. This is leading into the day. Valentine's Day of 1989 was the day the fatwa was issued. Ayatollah Khomeini issued this fatwa stating, "I would like to inform all the intrepid Muslims in the world that the author of the book titled The Satanic Verses, which was compiled, printed, and published in opposition to Islam, the Prophet, and the Quran, as well as those publishers who were aware of its contents, have been declared Madra. I have practiced this word so many times, and I am bad with words. Go for it, Ed. I see you studying it.
Yeah. Is it
Maduradum?
I'm trying to figure it. Yeah. Former ruling interpretation on a point of Islamic law given by a qualified scholar known as Muftui, a fatwa cannot be rescinded by anyone besides the person who first issued it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to inform all the intrepid Muslims, the intrepid part is the thing that interests me, Muslims in the world, that the author of the book titled The Satanic Verses, which has been compiled, printed, and published in opposition to Islam, the Prophet, and the Quran, as those publishers who were aware of its contents have been declared, I think it's pronounced Mahaduran? Or Mahadur. No, it's Madhuran. Yeah, Madhuradon. Madhuradon.
Yes, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, whose blood? Whose blood it is lawful to shed. Meaning he's putting a hit out for this guy.
So yes, I call on all zealous Muslims to execute them quickly where they find them, so that no one will dare insult Islam again. And then awarding $1 million for the murder of Salam and $3 million if you were in Iran or from Iran. Rushdie then goes into hiding 2 days later. So every podcast, every article was really intense with this day. Just the deep deep emotion behind this it was just so massive. So yeah, if I were someone, I would definitely have gone into hiding 2 days after. Wouldn't have given it a second minute. Nope.
That's scary stuff.
It's really scary. I mean, considering just how deep the faith can be, and just, I mean, you see extremists in many different religions, and you see different ideologies and how they can go, what extent they can go to. So I don't know. I just think that's so scary. Ooh.
Well, yeah, and I think this is kind of where the dumpster fire catches on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
No, it's on fire.
yes, yeah, when you have to go into hiding
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason for something that you wrote, the dumpster fire has been lit.
Yes.
And I think in this case, it's just like, guys, Henry David Thoreau wrote a lot more sketchier stuff in his 10 years just living on his own. The Declaration of Independence was sketchier stuff. And while I 100% understand why someone reading this book would be offended by it, to me it's just
the
like,
reaction.
yeah, it's just like, why do you have to escalate things from, say, like a 10 to 1,000?
Well, it doesn't get any easier because on
No.
February 24th, 1989, around 10,000 protesters marched the British High Commission in Mumbai, India. Police opened fire, killing 12 people, and over 40 others were injured. Bookstores in Berkeley, California were firebombed along with in the Bronx. Iran actually, it gets so political that Iran broke diplomatic ties with Britain in March of 1989.
My God.
So remember when you guys were questioning where the dumpster fire was in this story? I'm going to continue.
I think we found it.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, this is where I say, oh, and it gets worse. And then both of you are just like, oh, God.
It gets worse and it gets crazier and crazier, but this is definitely that peak point where it's like, oh. So Iran broke ties in March of 1989 with Britain. In June on the 3rd in 1989, Ayatollah Khomeini died. A lot of people actually did say that he was getting worse as he was getting older or closer to his death. He was getting more extreme.
Okay.
So this was a big. There is a will that he has, a memoir, and just a life synopsis of him, and I'll go ahead and make sure it's linked in the notes and whatnot. But it is he was very loved. He was very adored. A lot of people say that he was another higher power, if you will, not necessarily in the status of the prophet, but just the way that people idealized him.
Yeah.
So this was a very big, sad day for the Muslim community, especially his followers.
Well, and it's a phenomenon that we've seen in the past.
Right.
Like,
parasocial relationship, right? Is that what you would call that?
No, I was actually going to take it more to the extreme of I've grown up with people who knew Hitler, and these were kids. These were like the sons of lieutenants and aides and stuff like that surrounded Hitler, that were never really heavily implicated because they were in the inner circle of Hitler, but they never were in a position where they could call the shots in terms of the atrocities that were committed. I remember talking to these men and women as a little kid, and they're like, yeah, no, we called him Uncle Adolf. He was really nice. He was playful. He always talked to us. We could go to him for any sort of advice. He was a kind man. He was a generous man, but none of them knew the complete
The depths of
the depravity of his decision making at a global level. And
Yeah.
so I can kind of see where people are coming from when the Ayatollah died. It's like, hey, like, this isn't a bad guy. He really wasn't a bad guy to me and to a whole bunch of other people. And he did a great job leading. Uh, uh, but when you dive into it after the fact, it's just like, oh, this guy had another life.
He was pretty extreme.
Yes.
After Iran lost the war, they say that he's never smiled since that day.
Yep.
But he also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he killed like a bunch of his guys because of the loss. A lot.
Yes.
And that's pretty extreme if you ask me.
It is.
If you think about it, someone who's willing to do that for people who fought for him, like, it's nothing to put this fatwa over Salman Rushdie's head. It's nothing.
Yes. And I'm not going to deny for a second that is atrocious behavior, because we've seen it so many times in history with Mussolini and Hitler and Stalin and all that stuff. But it's also like, when we really dig into it, when you're looking at the average person who's just trying to bring home dinner for his family, I really can see why they would adhere to somebody like that, but they were also completely left in the dark in terms of what was really going on.
Sure.
And the atrocities and all that stuff, which I don't think accurately represents Islam.
No, and that's a big part of this. Is it? Muslims were really split into sides. Like, a lot of people didn't agree with they were like, if he apologizes and affirms his faith and does X, Y, and Z, like, we don't need to kill him. Like, that'll do. But of course, then you have those guys who were like, nah, it's not gonna slide. It's off with his head.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because you're going to find extremists on one side, and then you're going to find extremists on the other side.
Absolutely, and a lot of people who were Muslim and standing up for Salman Rushdie believed in freedom of speech. A lot of literary writers, a lot of big political figures, governmental figures.
Yeah. Well, he spent time in America.
Yeah, I mean, he was in New York. And do you guys want to talk about Cat Stevens?
Yes.
I've been waiting, because I know that I talked about it with Ed, and he's like, "What?"
No, I actually love Cat Stevens' early works. He kind of like,
and then it changed,
switched. Yeah, I'm like,
yeah, let's talk about it.
What are we singing about? Like, this is really confusing.
So, Cat Stevens is a musician from the 60s, 70s.
I would say he was actually around in the 80s.
That's like, I guess that's late 70s when he converted. Or not converted, but like, so Cat Stevens actually changed his name and is now Yusuf Islam. That's what he goes by now. In 1989, he came out to kind of voice his support for the fatwa in a BBC program. There was a question about giving Salman Rushdie shelter after the fatwa and whatnot, and his response goes, and I quote, "Yes, and I tried to phone Ayatollah Khomeini and tell him exactly where this man is." And then following that response, he was asked, "Would you go to a demonstration where you knew there was an effigy that was going to be burned?" And his response to this was, "I would have hoped that it was the real thing, but actually, no, if it's an effigy, I don't think I would have been moved to go there." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's how you're going to win over support in America.
But then, so in 2020, he had an interview, and I know I talked about Salman Rushdie's Desert Island Disc, but Cat Stevens actually has one as well. And in this interview, he states he was cleverly framed, I would say, by certain questions. And I never really actually ever supported the fatwa.
Got it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
but there's a video that I watched multiple times to make sure I was not stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure all those words together mean that you support it, but I don't know.
I guess when you're at that level of publicity, you can just be like, I know there's video evidence of the things that I said, but they didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a deep fake. That didn't happen. That's
I can throw a chair out of the top floor of a bar and potentially harm somebody, but that didn't actually happen, and all I need is just a misdemeanor where I can pay the fine and move on.
Sounds very familiar.
And Kara's like, I'm signing my lawyer's agreement to not say anything.
I'm just listening.
All right, so yeah, that's Cat Stevens for you. So he doesn't think that he said that, but I don't know.
I mean,
I think he did, but I just watched a video of him saying it. So what am I? It's just, yeah.
He said it,
mm-hmm.
and there's a guy that I don't agree with a lot on, but Newt Gingrich said one time years and years and years ago. This was like 20 years ago. He got up before Congress and he made a statement. And then the next day he was like, hey, guys, I got some new information and I no longer agree with it. I no longer agree with my original statement. Let's just go off the information and move forward. And I think that's kind of what Cat Stevens did, is that initially he was kind of caught up in the fervor, he was caught up in the movement, but then when he realized that, this is kind of taking things a little too far, then he's like, guys, let's just back down.
Like, actually,
I didn't mean those things, right?
He's like, yeah, I'm a firm believer in, the prophet and whatnot, and I was very heavily, I would rather it be the real thing than an effigy, which an effigy is a fake person.
Yeah. It's supposed to be the actual person, but you can't afford to get the actual person.
The person.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that was, I guess, a little bit of lightheartedness before we dive back into the heavy.
I'm reading ahead, and I'm like, let's get the show on the road because
we
gotta get through this.
It's gonna, let's get back to the meat and gritty.
We gotta get through this.
We got this. So Kara, July 3rd.
Can you turn your gain up a little bit more? Thanks, dog. But yeah, I can like honestly edit all this out, but for some odd reason, Kara, your voice has gotten quieter.
It got quieter.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And of course, you found the loudest dog in your house to be in the recording room.
Believe it or not, she's the quietest. And my husband just got home from the store. So.
All right. So I'm going to jump back into it. And
yes. Let's continue.
July 3rd, 1991, the Italian translator Ettore Capriolo was severely injured after being stabbed multiple times in his Milan home. Just 10 days after that, on July 13th, 1991, Hitoshi Igarashi, the Japanese translator, was stabbed and found dead in his office by his cleaning lady. There was a Turkish translator who was also attacked, a Norwegian publisher who was shot, and there were 2 clerics in Saudi Arabia, and is it Tunisia?
I thought it was Tunisia.
Maybe.
Or Tunisia.
maybe that. Tunisia sounds better. Who were shot and killed for speaking out in favor of Salman Rushdie. So that's a lot. I know that the Norwegian translator, oh gosh, what's his name again? It's I'm gonna remember it and I'll say it when I do remember.
Yeah, because you don't have it in the notes.
I don't have it in my notes and I don't know why. It's so weird. But anyhow, he actually talked about how, in an interview, he talked about how he would like kind of look over his shoulder, and William Nygaard, that's his name. Sorry.
Got it.
William
Got it.
Nygaard. he talked about just having to look over his shoulder a lot and just feeling very paranoid about the people that are like getting on the train, and he's like, that person's definitely looking at me right now.
That's scary.
Is very scary. That is terrifying. So that's a lot that happened in just a short amount of time. I'm going to break this up again and give some lightheartedness. There was a point where the book made everyone so nervous that Barnes and Noble announced that they would not sell the Satanic Verses. But then Mr. Stephen King, the man, told Barnes and Noble that you don't sell the Satanic Verses, you don't sell Stephen King.
That's a baller move. Jesus.
What a guy.
Oh,
Because think about that. Like, Stephen King, first of all, is a massive, massive, well-known writer. Famous. He's going to consistently and forever get any bookstore sales. It's just,
yeah.
and he's an icon.
Yeah, whatever he writes is going to be at the entrance door of every
Absolutely.
bookstore you go into.
Yeah, so for him, this big, well-known writer who is bringing in sales to all these bookstores and probably could make up for a lot of non-sales that they pulled out of maybe for other books,
Yeah, lost
not
revenue.
even worry about it. Yeah. And so that, I think that's freaking phenomenal, and sales were outstanding following the release. So there's that. That's freaking cool.
Well, and Stephen King isn't afraid to cross lines.
Absolutely not. I mean, read his books. People don't think about that stuff, and people have questioned his sanity because of it,
Yeah. He's short of his poetry, which I don't think he wrote a lot of. He's a lot like the American modern day Edgar Allan Poe. And he's not afraid to jump into categories in his stories that would be like, I would have never thought to ever write this before in my life, but I can see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So for him to come out and to be like, hey, if you pull Rushdie stuff off the shelf, you have to pull all of my stuff off the shelf.
All of it.
Which would have been bookshelves of content.
Well, yeah, look at the date that he said that. What was that? The late 80s, early 90s? That's his height. That's like the height of his career right there.
Peak. Yeah. Which I think that's my Zencaster name is Stephen King Stan for a reason. Because what a man, that's awesome, and he's already like one of my
that's a huge
authors,
gamble.
So.
That's a huge gamble, because even at the time of the Satanic Verses was written, yes, Rushdie was, quote unquote famous, but he wasn't Stephen King famous.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes a lot to say, and I'm pretty sure Stephen King received a lot of death threats as a result.
Yes, he did. A lot of people were affected by this, as you can see. I mean, I think there is like, I read a number. I couldn't find a total number in a lot of places, but the amount of people who lost their lives because of this were just, I mean, I didn't want to put in every single incident because it was too much, Going on to something also kind of lighthearted and a little funny, Bono did a tour in the UK for U2. I think it was like Zoo TV tour or something like that. And he was on stage as his character, Mr. McFishisto or something. Mephisto, and it's a devil. And
Mephisto?
Yeah, that one.
Is it like Mephisto who sold, or like the guy who sold his soul to the devil to know everything and then became the
I
devil
don't know.
himself?
Couldn't tell you.
God, it's been like 20 some odd years since I've read it.
I don't know. I'm only 20 something odd years old.
The answer is 12, folks. It's just 12. Mr. 12.
Yep. But anyways, Bono called Rushdie up on stage, or like called on him, and he was kind of just like berating him and talking poorly to him. And Rushdie goes, "Real devils don't wear horns."
Dang.
Yeah.
Yep. Making friends again.
We're just on a roll. Yeah. So that's a little bit of that's gonna kind of break it up, but we're getting close. I'm not gonna talk about everything that happened in the 90s, because there was a lot that happened, but it's all very much the same thing over and over again. So like the government in Iran would say, "Oh, we don't support the fatwa, but we also aren't going to get in the way of it." It's just kind of like the bounty award was like lifted, or it was raised and then it was dropped, and and it was raised and it was dropped, and then people are saying we support it, we don't support it, or we don't really, we're in the middle, we're not going to say, so it's just back and forth through that. There was a time where Rushdie apologized to Muslims and reaffirmed his faith in Islam. And so this is kind of what a lot of people were saying was going to help him. And I mean, this is in the 90s, so it didn't. Because there's still back and forth to this day of if it's lifted or if it's not. Because remember, a fatwa can only be taken back by the person who issued it. So Ayatollah Khomeini is dead and not going to be able to do that. So it's just going to be there until he dies, basically. And he's still kicking. He's pretty old. Good for him. It's 30-something years later.
I think it's something that actually kind of ties into like the Crusades, where during the Crusades, where if you look at it from the Muslim perspective, everybody had to declare war on these Christian invaders. And the only way this war could muster enough support, muster enough, common folk to fight this, is to be like, hey, if the guy who's in charge declares this war, but if he dies, the war still continues. Because they knew that there was going to be further crusades.
Yeah.
I have a funny feeling that is what was kind of like the mindset. And we see this even up until like 9/11 and post 9/11, where it was a jihad. This idea that we have to declare religious war on our enemies for all costs. Now, understandably, I know a lot of Muslims that do not agree with that. Especially the ones that live here in America.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's a fascinating psychological tactic that was employed to perpetuate it, and it kind of ties back to the Crusades.
I mean, I agree. That's fatwa, like it's gonna stay, it's gonna stick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, until that person is dead.
And you're going to have that one guy. You're going to have that one guy that's going to just hone in on that fatwa.
Take it very seriously.
It's going to be his life's work.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody's going to lose an eye for it.
Yeah. So like I said, I kind of want to not go through the 90s. Yes, this was the time when Salman kind of came out of hiding, because remember, he was in hiding for 9 years. He was hiding kind of, I mean, he was like having like weed parties. Like just chilling with his homies, but he was in hiding apparently. So
yeah, he was always kind of a chill guy.
Yeah, he's very, I feel like he's kind of like a, what's the word? Like a literary hippie,
Yeah.
Where he's very like cool guy, but very educated.
Yeah, he's like
very, very
Cheech and
educated.
Chong rolled up into one joint.
It's like, yeah. Yeah, sure. It's like Cheech and Chong meets like Neil deGrasse Tyson or something. Something is like extremely well educated.
I'm sure Neil deGrasse Tyson would love to be coincided with them.
Oh, well, there you go, bud.
But he's also he co-hosts a podcast with Chuck Nice, who's definitely a comedian, progressive. Like, he's not afraid to admit that he smokes the devil's lettuce.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Salman had weed parties. So he was in hiding for 9 years. I'm going to go into actually more recently. This is kind of the tail end of his journey so far, because I'm going to go to August 2022. And this was the day that Salman Rushdie was attacked. This was the attempted murder of Salman Rushdie. So on August 12th, 2022, Salman Rushdie was scheduled to give a lecture in, I don't like pronunciation, Chautauqua.
What is it? It's Chautauqua.
It's Chautauqua. Yeah, no, you're right. Chautauqua Institution.
New York. Yeah.
Yep, in New York. A 24-year-old Hadi Matar ran onto stage where Salim and the co-founder, of City of Asylum, Henry Reese, were both attacked. Henry was to interview Salman Rushdie about the U.S. kind of being a safe haven for exile writers. What a coincidence, right? I think that's ironic.
Or on purpose.
Or on purpose, you're not wrong. So Henry suffered a shallow knife injury and a deep bruising near his right eye. Ultimately, he is okay. Salman Rushdie had been stabbed 10 times, 4 times in the stomach, on his or near his stomach on his abdomen, 3 times on the front right side of his neck, once to his right eye, and once to the chest, once to the right thigh.
Jeez.
Yeah, on stage in front of people in 2022 for a book that he wrote in 1988.
Like, I don't know if you've ever studied how Malcolm X died.
Sure.
Another
look at me.
Another fascinating figure in American history, but like Malcolm X, say what you want on either side of his politics, but yeah, there was 2 guys that rushed the stage, and one guy made it up while his wife and daughters were sitting in the very front seats. 2 guys ran up. One of them managed to like shoot him point blank in the chest, thus blowing his chest open and blowing up his heart. And then another shot hit his stomach and then just blew his innards everywhere. And his daughters witnessed that. Even to this day, they remember what happened.
It's just foul, if you ask me.
Yeah, like, it's just so over the top. And I feel like maybe that was like kind of a repeat here, because Malcolm X was a huge proponent of Islam, African American freedom and rights and all that stuff. I feel like this is what this guy was trying to do, was make a statement.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, this is a duty to those who follow the fatwa, those who support the fatwa. This is a duty. This is a job. This is something that needs to happen. So yeah, I mean, it is definitely a statement, especially in public. I mean, it's easier access, but it's a big move. It's a big risk. Hadi Matar was ultimately arrested on directly at the situation.
Yeah, we're on the spot.
Yeah, and Salman Rushdie is actually writing a book currently, or no, he's not writing it anymore. It comes out this month.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a book called Knife: Meditations After Attempted Murder, and he states in it, in a reading, then in the corner of my right eye, the last thing my right eye would ever see, I saw the man in black running toward me down the right hand side of the seating area. Black clothes, black face mask. He was coming in hard and low, a squat missile. Now just think of that. Like that's deep. That is
really scary.
Nightmare inducing. That is nightmare inducing. That is scary for something that happened in the 80s. My whole life before me. And Kara's life, that's my lifetime ago, and this is still such a horrendous situation that he was ultimately stabbed 10 times. He was in the hospital for 6 weeks. He did lose vision in his eye, and he actually lost feeling in some of his fingertips. As you can imagine,
he can only type with one hand now, if I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
and he's got liver damage. I mean, he survived something, and there was a quote that the surgeon made, and he's like, "You're either the most unlucky man or the most lucky man." And someone was like, "What is so lucky about this?" And he was like, "It's either he's like, you're lucky because you made it, and you're also lucky because the man who stabbed you is not good at using a knife, stabbing a man with a knife." You know what I mean? I think that's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, that is insane.
Well, and I think it really is a test to Rushdie's character.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, relentless.
He's the kind of guy that he wrote stories that he knew would offend people.
Mm-hmm.
However, he also understood that this isn't my intent. I'm not trying to offend people.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because of my English and writing background, my view of it is that he tried to take writing to another level. And in case in point, if you ever read, the satanic verses, if you ever read, you read it in depth, you'll discover that, like, he will have multiple dialogues between two different people in the same paragraph.
Oh, I have read the first 5 chapters 3 times.
Yes.
3 times.
And it's just like, okay, who's having a conversation
what's
with
happening?
Yeah, it's that magical surrealism that he's a master of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, that's what makes him a good author, I feel, is if I'm not able to follow it, then you're probably executing what your goal was.
Well, and on top of that, he kind of did the same thing that J.R. Tolkien did. There, like, if you really dive into J.R. Tolkien, if you really dive into, like, his original works in terms of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, you'll discover that Tolkien isn't following normal conversation punctuation etiquette.
Sure.
And it's one of those things where it's super confusing to understand, but then once you can get past it, like, you can elevate your mind past it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is the reason why he's doing it. This is the reason why it's written this way. It goes all the way back to medieval and British Renaissance era writing, where you have these poets, these British poets that are they're not looking at the laws of poetry. They're just giving it the middle finger and moving on.
And just doing what they want.
Do what they want. And then we have metaphysical conceits. We have the advancements of sonnets, and it would lead its way to Whitman and Thoreau and all that kind of stuff, and Emily Barrett Browning and Percy Shelley and so on and so on. And I feel like Salman Rushdie was the kind of guy that's like, he's just looking around, he's looking at all the other authors, he's looking at Stephen King, he's like, that guy has made a name for himself. But then Rushdie's like, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to do my own thing. And I don't care. And if I piss people off, I'm sorry. I'm not attacking them personally. I'm really not. I'm just doing my own thing. And he kind of paid the price for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I kind of want to meet the guy. I kind of want to sit down and have lunch with the guy.
I think it would be super cool to sit down and have a conversation with him. I wouldn't want to in public.
You don't want to be collateral damage.
I'm not trying to go to like a Starbucks and sit down and have like a coffee with him in the middle of North Scottsdale. I'm okay. we can meet in someone else's backyard who I have to interview multiple times in order
a
to
Zoom
find the
call
right
and
one.
in your closet.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere. No one can hear me. I think he's also really, I like the sound of his voice.
Yeah.
You know, when you listen, like I was listening to the Desert Island Discs and just listening to him talk, he's got a soothing voice.
Yeah.
And he's got that like British, you know, got a British accent. So that also is a plus because it's soothing and it sounds, you know, sophisticated.
At least for us Americans.
Yeah, state of us Americans here. I will say though, listening to the Audible, if anyone's going to listen to the Satanic Verses, pay close attention to the narrator of the story's accent when he acts like the guy
Texan.
from Texas. I don't know about these little Muslims.
I don't know about these guys. Like, guys, it's not that bad.
No one sounds like that. The other accent is executed phenomenally, not the Texas Southern accent.
Admittedly, when I was in junior high, we had a French foreign exchange student who was actually staying in a household. Their parents were like born and raised Texan.
Nice.
And so he came into our French class and he tried speaking French with a thick Texan accent.
Oof.
It was glorious. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard. And I applaud this 13-year-old for like, you got an A for effort for speaking French in a Texan accent.
Like Brad Pitt and Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah, Galarmo. What's her name?
Gora.
Galarmo. You mean Guillermo? Galarmo.
Dominic De Coco.
See, Galarmo.
I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, going back to Mr. Rushdie and his no feeling in his fingertips. He survived. He is alive and very great. He still is writing. Like I said, he's writing Knife, and that will come out again this month. I am going to definitely read that. I think that is going to be my favorite book of his because it's more real. And
yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah,
you're not going to read that book and wondering why you're falling out of a plane
and turning into a goat.
Yeah, turning into something else in a wheelchair because you're in the hospital, because you're on a movie set, because you're hooking up with some other famous person's wife in her apartment, and you're influencing Islamic history 1,000 years ago. All at the same time.
Literally. Yeah.
I'd prefer the biography too.
I think I'm gonna read that one for sure. I think I won't have to read the first 5 chapters 3 times.
Right.
But yes. Yeah, he still speaks publicly. He actually I saw a couple of really funny little moments that he had more recently, but he was approached for a cameo in Talladega Nights. In Talladega Nights, they thought that it would be really funny to have 3 of the drivers be 3 people who you would never expect to be in a race car.
Oh God, I need to rewatch that.
I don't think he's in it. I didn't see that he was actually in it, but he was approached with the idea. That was their thought behind it, but I don't think it actually happened. I didn't see Salman Rushdie. I love that movie.
I don't think he's in it, but that's a wonderful idea.
It's a great idea. They should have done it. And he actually did. I don't know if you guys. I don't really care for Larry David personally. Not my favorite person. But he did some work with Larry David, and he was featured on Larry David's, what's it called?
Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Curb Your Enthusiasm. They did a few episodes. Ultimately, they were 2 men who have a fatwa, because Larry David has a fatwa over his head as well.
Got it.
He was invited onto the Jimmy Kimmel show, and he did some stuff that was against Ayatollah. And so yeah, they're there's his fatwa right there. He's now also an enemy of the Muslim world.
I think what he's done is he's positioned himself to the point where now new Muslim progressives are coming up. And they're like, why are we really upset with this guy? Do we have to be upset with this guy? And so, like, we have a new sense of leadership coming up where they're like, we've got other things to be frustrated about than a guy who wrote a book before I was even born.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing less death threats and all that kind of stuff. I think we're kind of seeing that politically in America now. We've got a lot more younger people coming up who are looking at the nearly 200 years of presidential or political professional life experience presidents. And people are like, are these really our best options?
Mm-hmm.
Is there's no one else out there that represents the average American? And I feel like we're starting to see a shift, much like America saw in the early 1960s, where they elected, like, what, a 45-year-old presidential candidate, as in, like, JFK.
Right.
Like, I feel like we're starting to encroach upon another cycle in American history. And this is something that my grandfather taught me before he died, is that you will see this cycle multiple times where you will see people holding on to their holy political vows, whether it's left or right, doesn't matter, who cares, but they're going to hold on, and then we're going to start seeing a shift into younger folks, and then they will exit, and then it's old, younger, old, and then younger,
and repeats itself.
Yeah, it's just a cycle that just repeats itself. It's something that America has done since the Revolutionary War.
For everything.
And I kind of wonder, and I wish I could sit down with Rushdie and kind of like pick his brain in terms of like, is this what you see is happening? Because I feel like he's the kind of guy that has been around, seen things, experienced things. He's the kind of guy that could be like, yeah, I could totally see where this is going. But knowing Rushdie in his age, knowing a lot of people that I grew up with in a retirement community, they have all said the same thing. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If you try, you care, you work, you put forth effort, you're going to be okay. And I feel like Rushdie is one of those guys that would say that about any guy today who is really anxious about the near future. And he can look you straight with one eye and tell you that.
Well, nice little segue back into Larry David, but the whole thing was about Larry David having a fatwa over his head and Salman Rushdie helping him get through that and how to live with it and how to survive with a death sentence over your head. They have Fatwa the musical. Which is really funny. That's really funny.
Guys, or ladies, if I ever end up with the jihad or a fatwa against me, ditch me and do something else. I totally understand.
Or we could do a musical.
I was just going to say, or we could just do a musical about it.
Yeah, after I'm dead, you'll do the musical.
No, we'll just ship you off to California so you can hang out with Larry David and
as opposed to like Heil myself. I'm assuming you guys haven't seen The Producers.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but you talk about it a lot, so I knew what you were talking about.
Yes, we caught all of that, Carrot.
Oh, sorry.
And all your quietness. I'm gonna get you a cloud lifter, Kara.
Okay.
I need it.
I'm gonna get you the oh crap, what is it that I have? It's called a dynamite stick. I don't know where it sits in my corded loop, but all you have to do is just turn your gain up to like 20%. and we will all hear you loud and clear without a whole bunch of background static.
Okay.
She's like,
so whatever you say.
Sure. I'm just gonna record the next episode, so you do you. Speaking of next episodes, Kara, do you have anything lined up?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes. I will boost this in post.
I was originally going to do the Fourth Crusade, but I'm going to put that on the back burner.
You changed it?
I changed
Wait, what?
I changed it.
What are you doing now? Now it's a surprise?
I kind of want to not tell you what it is.
I love that idea. Let's do that.
Okay. So you're just going to have to wait and see. I even, in my search bars when I was looking it up earlier, I put it in my own Google and not the dumpster fire Google, so you can't see it.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Nice. Got it.
That's kind of fun.
Ed's going to hate it.
Well, yeah, I know, right? He's going to be like, what is she talking about?
I don't know that.
I know, I'm like, what is this? What are we
I'm not good with surprises. I have to know.
Let's just say it is something that I could quickly do the research on, and then we can record this soon.
Let's do it.
All right.
I can't wait. I like surprises sometimes.
It'll be funny. It's a palate cleanser, and I think it's more of a palate cleanser than the Crusade would be.
Good. I really want to talk about Jack the Ripper next, but I think I'm gonna push that a few moments.
That's
give me something else to be kind of happy about.
Maybe something with less knives.
Yes, I think that's really good.
Well, not to mention too, like, there's a podcast that we follow that did like a 5-part series on it.
You have to make it perfect.
Yeah.
If you're doing Jack the Ripper. But there's a lot of cool things that I really like that's not even necessarily what I feel is so mainstream knowledge about it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of perspectives you could take on it too.
Yeah, so I just think, I think that without even going into all the like really, 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 really bad stuff, not focusing on that all entirely. There's a lot of other theories, a lot of other really cool things, but I can't do that right now. So.
The guy with the knife did it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
I know something that I've been kind of wanting to dive into is the exploration of the North and South Poles. Because it seems like people were like, hey, in the 1800s, they're like, give me a ship, give me some warm clothes, and I will find the North and South Pole.
Nice.
Yeah.
And nothing, absolutely nothing goes right. It is, as soon as they hop off the boat, everybody dies. And
can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, that's a good time.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
The only problem is that it's probably going to be a like 2-parter because we've got to cover the North Pole and then we've got to cover the South Pole.
Right.
Because both of them have completely different story settings, like people getting trampled by penguins in one part, and then another guy loses all of his skin because he ate nothing but rabbits and got vitamin A poisoning.
Yay.
You have another guy that got so far lost he landed in the Atlantic Ocean but drowned in the Pacific Ocean.
Tight.
Yeah, there's just so much, like,
it's a lot.
Guys, compasses don't work here. Like, this isn't how it works. Straight. So
cool.
That'll be fun.
So that's pipeline.
Kara's palate cleanser. I think I need it after doing this research and listening to all the stuff.
It'll be good. I promise. It'll be good. I'm excited for it. In fact, once we hang up, I'm going to start typing up my Word doc because I'm excited for it.
Kara, does it have to do with a large army accidentally or not intentionally sacking the wrong city?
No, that's the Crusade, friend.
Oh, that's what you were talking about earlier?
That's the Crusade that I'm going to put on the back burner.
Oh.
Love that.
This is different, and yeah, I'm going to keep it a surprise for your sake.
So I can't do any research on it and just completely derail the whole conversation?
Well, that's not the reason, and I will tell you, once you find out what it is, you'll already know a lot about it, which is why I'm not telling you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's the 2020 elections.
Nope.
Nailed it.
Absolutely not. Yikes.
On that note. Would you like to do some housekeeping, Kara?
Yes, housekeeping. Housekeeping. Our website is officially up. You can find us at www.theday'sdumpsterfire.com. You can reach us there, contact us if you have any trash can fires. You can also email us at thedaysdumpsterfire@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us on Instagram, we are also on Instagram. Deja has been doing a fabulous job keeping up with that for us. Much better than I was doing. And that's all I got. I broke Ed.
So Deja, how's our last episode doing on Instagram?
She put it up.
Told me to remind you to post.
Oh yeah, I was gonna text you after I posted. I was like, "Thanks for the reminder."
Yeah, she
Thank
put it
God
up.
I remembered myself.
Well, I reminded you shortly before you left our room, so I did my job.
That was 3.5 hours before I needed to post it. So. That's great.
It's up. It's fine. And if it makes you feel any better, it's there. I am just now updating the website for the new episode, so it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. But yeah,
champions.
And I'm taking a Google-led seminar on how to get our podcast posted onto YouTube podcasts.
Got it. Cool.
Because I got the link, I got everything connected, but nothing is posting. But in the next, I think it's today. Actually, I think it was an hour ago.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to try to find that video on how to get up onto YouTube podcasts. So
champions.
If you're hearing yes, if you're hearing us from YouTube podcasts, I have figured it out. If not, we're on everything else.
Yep, we're on everything else. It's totally fine. Again, you can find our links on the website. You can chat with us there. You can chat with us on Instagram or email us. I don't care. So we will talk with you in our next surprise episode.
Yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Hopefully that didn't bum you out too much.
Hey, I got both my eyes.
Don't write novels about the Prophet Muhammad in the worst way you could possibly do it.
Yes, please don't do that.
Yes, and I can't see out of both eyes, so I'm taking with that and running.
Yeah,
I can't see out of my eyes for different reasons.
I have glasses, so.
I don't.
All right, catch y'all later.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.